A casino floor manager from Las Vegas just leaked an internal memo that's causing panic in the gaming industry, and what it reveals could change everything you thought you knew about how casinos make money. According to this document, there are slot machines currently sitting on casino floors that are costing operators millions of dollars every single month, and they can't remove them without risking something even worse. Machine number 1. Lightning Link. This is the game that casino executives call their biggest headache, and here's why. Former pit boss Frank spent 15 years managing slot floors in Reno, and he started noticing something strange in late 2024. One entire section of his casino floor, dedicated exclusively to Lightning Link machines, showed negative revenue for 4 consecutive months. We're not talking about a small loss either. These machines that should have been generating steady profits were actually paying out more than they were taking in, month after month. The technical data tells the story. Lightning Link operates with a base game RTP between 94 and 96%, which is unusually high compared to modern slot machines that typically run closer to 88%. During regular play, the casino maintains a decent hold percentage. But here's where everything falls apart. The bonus rounds trigger far more frequently than financial models predicted, and when they hit, they pay out substantial amounts. Frank documented everything meticulously because management refused to believe the numbers at first. According to his reports, corporate wanted to replace the Lightning Link machines with tighter games that would restore profitability. They ran the analysis, identified the problem machines, and prepared for the swap. Then, something unexpected happened. When word leaked to regular players that Lightning Link might be removed, the backlash was immediate and severe. Social media lit up with complaints. Players threatened to take their business to competing casinos down the street. Management faced an impossible choice. They lose money keeping the machines or lose customers by removing them. They kept the machines, and the losses continued accumulating. And if you think that's costing them money, wait until you hear about machine number 2, because this one was actually designed to solve the profitability problem and ended up making everything worse. Buffalo Diamond, that's machine number 2, and this is where the story gets really interesting. Aristocrat Gaming thought they had cracked the code. The original Buffalo slot had been wildly successful, but perhaps too generous to players. So when they designed Buffalo Diamond, the entire engineering team focused on one goal: maintain player excitement while improving casino profitability. They ran thousands of simulations, adjusted the mathematical models, and released what they believed would be the perfect balance. Instead, they created something that lost even more money than its predecessor. Maria managed a major casino floor in Atlantic City, and she watched this disaster unfold in real time throughout 2025. The corporate office had invested heavily in Buffalo Diamond machines, been purchasing an entire bank of units, and positioning them prominently near the main entrance. The excitement was palpable during the first few weeks. Players loved the enhanced graphics and the promise of bigger wins. Then Maria started noticing the payout reports. According to internal casino documentation, the free games bonus round was triggering far more frequently than the design specifications indicated. The mathematical model predicted the bonus would hit approximately once every 180 spins, which would have maintained acceptable profit margins. The actual performance data told a completely different story. Players were hitting free games once every 120 spins on average, a deviation that might sound small but has catastrophic financial implications when multiplied across thousands of daily spins. And the situation deteriorated further with maximum bet players. The grand jackpot system, which should have been a rare and exciting event based on statistical modeling, started hitting with alarming regularity. Maria's property experienced 3 grand jackpot hits in a single month during summer 2025, paying out more than $500,000 total. Corporate dispatched analysts to investigate whether the machines had been tampered with or were malfunctioning. The conclusion was even more troubling. The machines were operating exactly as programmed. The problem wasn't mechanical failure or player manipulation. The problem was the mathematical foundation itself. Internal analysis revealed that Buffalo Diamond's volatility algorithm was, in the words of one corporate memo, too fair to players. The random number generator was producing results that fell within acceptable variance ranges, but consistently favored the higher end of payout distributions. Aristocrat offered a firmware update that would adjust the mathematics and restore intended profitability levels. This created another impossible situation for casino operators. Installing the update risked player detection and the inevitable social media firestorm that would follow. Players obsessively track their results, share data in online forums, and notice when machines suddenly become less generous. The irony couldn't be more perfect. A machine specifically engineered to extract more money from players while maintaining the excitement that made the original Buffalo popular ended up being even more costly to casinos than the game it was designed to replace. Before we continue, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe and comment below. Have you ever hit a jackpot on any of these machines? But here's where things get really interesting, because machine number 3 represents a different kind of problem entirely. One that has casino executives worried about an emerging pattern they're seeing across multiple manufacturers. Dragon Link Panda Magic, that's machine number 3, and former slot directors call this the hold and spin disaster. The Dragon Link series has been phenomenally popular since its introduction, with multiple themed variants attracting players across different demographics. Panda Magic became the breakout star of the collection, and that popularity is precisely what's bleeding casinos dry. The technical issue centers on how the jackpot system resets after being won. Every Dragon Link machine features multiple progressive jackpots that start at predetermined minimum values after someone hits them. Panda Magic's mini and minor jackpots reset at levels that sound reasonable in isolation, but create a cascade of problems in practice. Yes, a former slot director who spent 8 years managing floors across the Midwest explained the mathematics during an industry conference in early 2026. The mini jackpot on Panda Magic averages $52 when it hits, and it's hitting approximately once every 45 minutes per machine during peak hours. The minor jackpot averages $520 and hits roughly once every 4 hours. These frequencies are dramatically higher than comparable games in the Dragon Link family, sometimes exceeding the next closest variant by 30%. The real devastation comes from what happens next. Frequent jackpots create what gaming analysts call pack hunting behavior. Players notice which machines are hitting regularly and communicate this information instantly through text messages and social media. Within hours, a successful machine attracts crowds of players who camp nearby, waiting for seats to open up. This concentration of informed players fundamentally changes the economics of the game. One Las Vegas Strip property decided to track this phenomenon scientifically. They isolated one bank of 12 Panda Magic machines and monitored every metric over 6 months in 2025. The data was unambiguous and alarming. Those 12 machines paid out $340,000 more than they collected in wagers. That represents over $28,000 in monthly losses from just 12 units. The mathematics should make this impossible, but player behavior was overriding the statistical models. Management faced the same dilemma that's becoming depressingly familiar in this industry. Removing popular games creates immediate and severe public relations problems in the social media age. Players post complaints on TikTok and Instagram about casinos becoming dead or stingy when their favorite machines disappear. These posts reach thousands of potential customers and damage the property's reputation far beyond the immediate financial impact of keeping problematic machines. The casino is trapped between losing money through payouts or losing money through decreased customer traffic and damaged brand perception. And speaking of machines with jackpot problems that cost casinos millions, machine number 4 has been causing financial headaches for over a decade, and it's still sitting on floors today because removing it would be commercial suicide. 88 Fortunes is machine number 4, and industry veterans call it the dinosaur that's still biting. This game launched way back in 2012, making it ancient by slot machine standards, where most games have a commercial lifespan of 3 to 5 years before being rotated out. Yet 88 Fortunes continues dominating casino floors despite being significantly less profitable than newer alternatives, and the reason why reveals everything about the bind casinos find themselves in. The core issue is the progressive jackpot system, which operates on mathematical principles that favor players more generously than modern designs. The game features 4 progressive tiers: mini, minor, major, and grand. Each tier accumulates based on player wagers. But the rate of accumulation and the frequency of hits create a profitability problem that newer games specifically engineered solutions to avoid. David worked as a casino analyst for a major Midwest property, and his job involved running detailed profit analysis on every game on the floor. During the fourth quarter of 2025, his team conducted a comprehensive review that ranked games by multiple profitability metrics. 88 fortunes appeared in the bottom 5% for casino return on investment. The grand jackpot data illustrated the problem perfectly. The grand progressive seeds at $10,000, meaning that's the minimum amount it starts at after being won. According to tracked data across hundreds of machines, the average grand jackpot when hit contains $18,400. And more concerning for casino profitability, the grand is hitting every 16 to 20 days per machine, based on documented observation. Modern progressive systems are engineered to extend that cycle to 25 to 35 days, allowing the casino to build a larger buffer between player losses and jackpot payouts. Despite generating substantial play volume, ranking in the top 15% of all games for total handle, 88 Fortunes produces a profit margin of only 4%, compared to the floor average of 12%. That 8 percentage point difference represents enormous sums when multiplied across hundreds of machines operating 24 hours daily. Management understands mathematics completely. They know exactly how much money they're losing by maintaining 88 fortunes on the floor. But they also know something else. Regular players specifically choose which casino to visit based on whether that property maintains 88 fortunes. Remove the game, and a measurable percentage of customers go to the competitor down the street who still has it. The calculation becomes perversely simple. Keeping 88 fortunes loses money through reduced profit margins. But removing it loses even more money through decreased foot traffic and the ripple effect that has on revenue from all other games, restaurants, and hotel rooms. Casino operators describe this situation as being between a rock and a hard place, and there's no clear path forward that doesn't involve accepting losses one way or another. But what we're about to cover next is even more shocking, just because machine number 5 represents something casinos never anticipated. Players cracking the code and sharing the solution with millions of people online. Machine number 5. Huff and More Puff. And this is the game that proved casino executives' worst nightmare about the internet age was completely justified. When this machine released in late 2024, initial performance reports looked promising. Players enjoyed the theme, the bonus features triggered at acceptable intervals, and the mathematics appeared sound. Then something happened that no amount of statistical modeling or focus group testing could have predicted. The player community figured it out. Within 3 months of release, detailed discussions started appearing on gambling forums analyzing optimal betting strategies. Players began documenting their sessions, comparing notes about bonus trigger frequencies at different denomination levels, and sharing spreadsheets tracking their results. By early 2025, the consensus had crystallized around a specific approach. $2.50 bets hit the perfect sweet spot where bonus rounds triggered frequently enough to maintain engagement while keeping the grand jackpot progression accessible. YouTube videos explaining this strategy accumulated millions of views. Some creators produced elaborate tutorials complete with spreadsheet calculators and statistical breakdowns. The information spread like wildfire through the gambling community, and casino floors started seeing the impact immediately. Rachel supervised slot operations at a major Connecticut property, and she started noticing unusual patterns in player behavior around the Huff and More Puff machines by spring 2025. Players were arriving with printed strategy guides. Groups of friends were betting identical amounts and following the same progression systems. Most tellingly, these players were winning with suspicious consistency. Rachel's property maintained 15 Huff and More Puff machines across the main floor, and management tasked her with investigating whether something had gone wrong with the games themselves. Technicians verified that all machines were operating within specifications. The random number generators passed every diagnostic test. Nothing was malfunctioning or miscalibrated. The problem was that players had discovered an approach that exploited the mathematical sweet spot the designers never intended anyone to find. The data told a story that made accounting executives deeply uncomfortable. Those 15 machines were showing an 89% return to player rate in actual practice, compared to the designed theoretical return of 85%. That 4 percentage point difference sounds almost trivial until you calculate the annual impact. Each machine was losing approximately $15,000 per month in revenue that the mathematical models predicted should have been retained by the casino. Multiply that across 15 machines, and the property was missing $270,000 annually from just this one game. The total fleet-wide impact across hundreds of properties operating thousands of Huff and More Puff machines represented tens of millions in lost revenue industry-wide. Aristocrat Gaming released a carefully worded statement characterizing the results as within normal variance expectations, which was technically accurate but financially catastrophic. Casino operators found themselves in yet another impossible position. They couldn't prove anything was actually wrong with the machines from a regulatory standpoint. The games were certified and operating as programmed, but removing them would essentially confirm that player theories were correct and that the casinos were taking away games that favored customers too much. That admission would fuel years of social media content about rigged games and casino manipulation. So the machines stayed on the floor, the YouTube videos kept accumulating views, and the losses continued mounting month after month. And if you think that's costing them money, this machine number 6 has them even more worried, because this one combines new technology with generous mathematics in ways that are making executives question whether innovation in slot design has gone too far in favor of player entertainment over casino profitability. Ultimate Fire Link Touchdown Wheel is machine number 6, and the name itself hints at the problem. This game launched in 2024 featuring what marketing materials called a revolutionary wheel bonus feature designed to create game show-style excitement on the slot floor. The wheel spin bonus was supposed to be rare enough that hitting it felt like a genuine event, something players would remember and talk about. Instead, the wheel triggers so frequently that it's undermining the entire economic model of the game. Internal tracking data from multiple properties shows the wheel bonus activating approximately once every 90 spins, which might not sound frequent until you compare it to traditional Firelink bonus features that were mathematically designed to hit every 140 to 160 spins. That difference compounds dramatically over thousands of daily spins per machine. The wheel itself presents another layer of financial problems, because the awards it offers include progressive multipliers and instant jackpot hits. Casino documentation indicates the average wheel spin pays between 60 and 80 times the triggering bet amount, creating substantial individual wins that accumulate into serious money over time. Jennifer was part of a bachelorette party group that visited Las Vegas in April 2025, and her experience illustrates exactly what's happening. She sat down at an Ultimate Firelink touchdown wheel machine with $300, betting $1 per spin, nothing excessive or unusual. Over a 3-hour session, she triggered the wheel bonus 6 separate times. The payouts varied, but the cumulative result was $4,200 in total winnings from her initial $300 investment. Her friends posted videos of her celebrations on social media, where they accumulated hundreds of thousands of views and inspired countless other players to seek out the same game. Casino management initially dismissed Jennifer's results as lucky variance, the kind of outlier outcome that happens occasionally and actually benefits casinos by creating hope and excitement among other players. Then they analyzed the data more carefully across all their Ultimate Firelink touchdown wheel machines over a 3-month period, and the pattern became undeniable. 23% of playing sessions lasting 2 hours or longer were hitting the wheel bonus 4 or more times. This wasn't an isolated lucky player, and this was systematic mathematical performance that consistently favored players beyond what financial projections had anticipated. Focus group testing had shown players loved the wheel feature, responding enthusiastically to the visual excitement and the anticipation of big wins. Corporate executives had approved the game based partly on these overwhelmingly positive player responses. But accounting departments were discovering that player satisfaction and casino profitability had diverged dramatically. High engagement wasn't translating into proportional revenue because players were winning too often and too much. Now we're getting to the machines that have executives seriously concerned. Because machine number 7 represents a fundamental miscalculation in how volatility mathematics translate from computer models to real-world casino floors, and the financial damage is making manufacturers reconsider some basic assumptions about game design. Machine number 7, Scarab Peach Blossom. And this is where casino executives started using words like catastrophic in their internal communications. Aristocrat positioned this 2025 release as the perfect game for penny slot players, those casual gamblers who prefer low-risk entertainment over high-stakes action. The strategic thinking seemed sound. Attract players with minimal bankrolls, keep them engaged with frequent small wins and exciting bonus features, then profit from the sheer volume of spins generated across hundreds of machines. The reality that emerged over the following months revealed a fundamental flaw in how the volatility mathematics were calculated. Players discovered almost immediately that 20-cent bets, structured as 1 penny across 20 lines, were triggering free game bonuses with shocking regularity. Documentation from multiple properties showed the bonus round hitting every 80 to 100 spins on average, which creates an entirely different playing experience than games where bonuses arrive every 200 or 300 spins. The free games themselves compounded the profitability problem because they included multipliers reaching up to 100 times the triggering bet. A casino in Biloxi, Mississippi experienced what management initially classified as a statistical anomaly in March 2026. An elderly player sat down at a peach blossom machine with $40, betting the minimum 20 cents per spin, and walked away 5 hours later with $12,000. Surveillance reviewed the entire session frame by frame, looking for any irregularities or signs of advantage play techniques. As what they found was straightforward, almost boring gameplay with no suspicious patterns. The player simply hit free game bonuses 47 times over that 5-hour period, with an average payout of $255 per bonus round. Management ordered a comprehensive review of all Scarab Peach Blossom machines on the property, analyzing 90 days of performance data across every denomination and betting pattern. The results contradicted everything they thought they understood about penny slot economics. Players making minimum bets were showing a 97% return rate in actual practice, a number that makes long-term casino profitability mathematically impossible. That's the counterintuitive discovery that lowest betting players were winning most consistently, violated basic assumptions about how slot floors generate revenue. Industry insiders started circulating an assessment that captured the absurdity perfectly. We're losing money to people betting quarters. The practical implications extended beyond just this one game, because Peach Blossom was demonstrating that volatility models developed in laboratory conditions don't always predict real-world performance when millions of actual players interact with the mathematics in ways designers never anticipated. Casino operators found themselves trapped by market realities they couldn't simply ignore. Removing penny slots entirely would alienate the casual player demographic that represents a substantial percentage of floor traffic. But keeping Scarab Peach Blossom was costing each machine between $800 and $1,200 monthly. The game, designed to be a reliable profit generator from high-volume, low-stakes play, had instead become a consistent money loser that was forcing executives to question fundamental assumptions about low-denomination slot strategy. But here's where things get truly alarming for casino executives, because machine number 8 represents a problem with implications reaching far beyond any single game or manufacturer, touching on systemic issues with how progressive jackpot mathematics are structured across the entire industry. Dancing Drums Explosion is machine number 8, and it's the progressive nightmare that's keeping accounting departments awake at night. Scientific Games released this premium title in 2024, promoting an innovative explosion feature that would revolutionize how progressive jackpots accumulate and pay out. The core concept involved rapid jackpot growth during bonus rounds, where special symbols could add 10 to 50 times the normal contribution rate to the progressive pools. Marketing presentations showed focus group participants responding with genuine excitement to the accelerated jackpot meter movements and the possibility of huge prizes building quickly. The mathematical problem emerged gradually as actual performance data accumulated across hundreds of installations. Thomas directed slot operations for a major Nevada property, and his responsibilities included monitoring the financial performance of every game category on the floor, By late 2025, the dancing drums explosion numbers were triggering automated alerts in the casino's management system because the machines were consistently underperforming revenue projections. Thomas initiated a detailed forensic analysis covering 6 months of operation across 30 dancing drums explosion machines, and what his team discovered represented a fundamental flaw in how the progressive system was engineered. The jackpot pools were growing at rates that exceeded the revenue generation capacity of the underlying game mathematics. Every spin contributed to the progressive meters, which was standard, but the explosion feature during bonus rounds was adding massive amounts to those pools at a pace the designers apparently never properly stress-tested under real-world conditions with thousands of daily players. The cumulative numbers told a story that made corporate executives demand verification and recounting. Those 30 machines had paid out $2.8 million in various jackpots over the 6-month analysis period, while collecting only $2.4 million in total wagers. The net loss of $400,000 didn't include facility costs, employee salaries, regulatory fees, or any of the other operational expenses associated with maintaining slot machines. Each corporate dispatched a team to verify Thomas's findings and review the manufacturer specifications to determine whether the machines were malfunctioning. Scientific Games provided complete technical documentation proving the games were operating precisely as programmed and within all certified parameters. The problem wasn't mechanical failure or programming errors. The problem was the specifications themselves were financially unsustainable. The implications extended far beyond Thomas's property because Scientific Games had sold these same machines to over 300 casino operators worldwide. Industry analysts started calculating the potential collective losses if similar performance patterns were occurring across that entire installed base, and the estimates ranged from $50 to $75 million in aggregate shortfalls. But gaming commissions had certified the machines as compliant with all regulatory requirements, which created a legal complexity that prevented casinos from simply modifying the mathematics or demanding recalls. The machines were legal, certified, and operating as designed. They just happened to be designed in ways that lost money for the operators who purchased them. Casino executives found themselves in the bizarre position of hoping that player behavior would somehow change over time, or that variance would eventually swing the mathematics back toward profitability. But 18 months after installation, the pattern showed no signs of reversing. And now we're down to the final 2 machines. And these represent an entirely new problem that has industry analysts predicting fundamental changes in how casinos approach slot floor management over the next 5 years. Machine number 9, Coin Trio Panda's Fortune. And this represents what casino executives are calling the social media effect, a phenomenon that's fundamentally altering the economics of slot floor management in ways that were completely unpredictable just 2 years ago. In January 2026, a video appeared on TikTok showing a player hitting a $47,000 jackpot on a $5 bet. The video was perfectly composed, capturing the exact moment the screen exploded with celebration animations, the player's genuine shock and excitement, and the crowd that gathered within seconds to congratulate her. Within 72 hours, that video had reached 14 million views, and the impact on casino operations nationwide was immediate and measurable. Properties across the country reported a 300% increase in play on Coin Trio machines during the 2 weeks following the viral moment. IGT, the manufacturer, received orders for over 2,000 additional units as casinos rushed to meet the surging demand. This should have been a commercial triumph, the kind of organic marketing that gaming companies dream about. Instead, it became a case study in how viral attention doesn't necessarily translate into profitability. The technical reality behind that viral win was straightforward. It represented a legitimate outcome with approximately 1 in 380,000 probability, genuinely rare and worthy of celebration. But player perception operates on completely different principles than statistical mathematics. Millions of viewers watching that video absorbed a simple narrative. If she won, I can win. Behavioral economists call this the availability heuristic, where dramatic examples disproportionately influence people's assessment of likelihood. One Las Vegas property decided to track the phenomenon scientifically, monitoring performance across 45 Coin Trio machines throughout February 2026. The play volume increase reached 400%, compared to January baseline, which should have generated proportional revenue increases if player behavior remained constant. Instead, revenue increased only 180%. Players were betting more aggressively, chasing the dream of replicating that viral jackpot. And in the process, they were hitting bonus rounds and accumulating progressive jackpots at rates that overwhelmed the underlying profit mathematics. Michael was an advantage slot player from California who recognized the opportunity immediately. High traffic on progressive machines meant the jackpot meters were accumulating faster than normal, and he developed a systematic approach to monitoring which machines had reached profitable reset points. Over 3 weeks in February, he generated $8,000 in profit by specifically targeting coin trio machines where the progressives had built to levels that mathematically favored the player. Other advantage players began adopting similar strategies, sharing information through private Discord channels and coordinating their efforts to maximize returns. But casino operators found themselves managing a situation that defied traditional solutions. Social media had created awareness that drove traffic, but that traffic included increasingly sophisticated players who understood how to exploit accumulated progressives. Some properties quietly reduced their coin trio floor space, hoping to manage the problem through reduced exposure. The response was predictable and immediate. Online complaints about machines being rigged or removed flooded social media, damaging the casino's reputation among exactly the demographic they were trying to attract. The viral video had created impossible expectations and introduced an informed player base that approached the game with strategies the designers never anticipated. And that brings us to the final machine on this list. And this one represents what might be the biggest problem facing casinos in 2026, because it's not about a single game performing poorly. It's about a fundamental shift in how information availability is changing the entire relationship between casinos and players. Machine number 10, Prosperity Moon, Azure Knights, and this is what industry insiders call the machine that's too honest. Every released this game in 2025 with a feature that seemed brilliant in concept, a real-time RTP tracking display visible directly on the player screen. The intention was building trust through transparency, showing players that the game was operating fairly and giving them concrete data about performance. The innovation backfired spectacularly because it gave players information they immediately learned to weaponize. The display shows the running return to player percentage calculated over the previous 1,000 spins, updating continuously as play progresses. Within weeks of installation, online gambling communities were discussing strategies for using this information to identify machines that were theoretically due to payout. Player groups began systematically tracking RTP displays across dozens of machines, rotating their play to focus on units showing below-average returns. In February 2026, a coordinated group of 7 players in Reno implemented a systematic approach across 40 Prosperity Moon machines. They tracked the real-time RTP displays, maintained shared spreadsheets, and concentrated their play exclusively on machines currently showing returns below 85%. Their operating theory, though mathematically flawed in its understanding of how RTP functions, suggested that machines would naturally balance toward their programmed averages over time. Yet the statistical reality is more complex. RTP doesn't work that way, and past performance doesn't predict future results in systems using genuine random number generators. But here's what made casino executives nervous. Whether the players understood the mathematics correctly or not, their selective approach was producing results. By choosing to play only machines currently underperforming their theoretical returns, this group reduced the casino's actual hold percentage from 12% to 8% over a 6-week period. 34 casino properties have reported similar organized player behavior on Prosperity Moon machines, with average hold percentage reductions between 3 and 5% wherever these patterns emerge. Avery maintains that players are misunderstanding how statistics function and that their strategies don't actually provide any mathematical advantage. Casino operators respond that, understanding or not, it's costing them measurable revenue every month. The deeper concern extends beyond just this single game, because other manufacturers are actively considering transparency features for future releases, believing that information disclosure builds player trust and loyalty. Casino executives are watching these developments with growing alarm because they recognize that information empowers players in ways that erode the fundamental economic advantages casinos require to remain profitable. So there you have it. 10 machines currently sitting on casino floors across the country that are costing operators millions of dollars every single month in 2026. And the situation reveals something fundamental about how dramatically the gambling industry has transformed over the past few years. Several common threads connect all these machines. Technology advances that sometimes favor players more than designers anticipated. Social media amplifying player advantages at speeds that make traditional casino responses obsolete. Transparency features creating new player behaviors that erode profit margins. And the harsh reality that popular machines simply cannot be removed despite their financial drain because competition for customers has become too intense. As the casino gaming industry finds itself in a genuine transition period, where player sophistication is increasing faster than game design teams can adapt their mathematical models and security measures. Market pressure from competing properties forces operators to maintain problematic machines because removing a popular game sends customers directly to the competitor down the street who still offers it. This creates a profitability paradox, where the most popular games on any floor are often the least profitable, sometimes actively losing money while occupying premium real estate that could theoretically house better-performing titles. This situation isn't unprecedented in casino history. During the 1990s, video poker advantage players forced the industry to implement substantial rule changes and mathematical adjustments after demonstrating that optimal strategy could reduce the house edge below profitability thresholds. The current difference is that social media accelerates information sharing at rates that make the 1990s situation look glacial by comparison. Casino operators cannot modify games or adjust floor layouts faster than players share strategies, coordinate approaches, and organize collective responses through online communities. Some casino corporations are attempting strategic adaptations, like hiding problematic machines in low-traffic areas, hoping reduced visibility will decrease play volume enough to minimize losses. Players counter by creating and sharing detailed floor maps, showing exact machine locations at specific properties. Other operators have implemented dynamic floor management programs, rotating machines more frequently to prevent the pattern recognition that allows advantage players to identify favorable conditions. This approach costs between $500 and $800 per machine relocation, adding substantial operational expenses to address a problem that's already reducing revenue. Perhaps most interesting is how some casino marketing departments are attempting to reframe these losses as strategic investments, promoting their properties as player-friendly destinations where people actually win. The calculation suggests that attracting high-volume traffic at lower profit margins might generate more total revenue than maintaining higher margins with reduced customer counts. This represents a fundamental shift in casino business strategy, treating slot machines as potential loss leaders that drive revenue through hotel bookings, restaurant traffic, and entertainment spending rather than as primary profit centers themselves. Looking ahead, the situation will likely deteriorate further before any equilibrium emerges, because emerging technologies like artificial intelligence-powered slot analysis applications are making sophisticated play accessible to casual gamblers who previously lacked the mathematical knowledge to exploit game vulnerabilities. Player communities on Discord servers now exceed 100,000 members actively sharing performance data and coordinating strategies across multiple properties simultaneously. Regulatory pressure in some jurisdictions is mandating increased transparency requirements that will provide players even more information to inform their decisions. Manufacturers are responding by developing next-generation games featuring dynamic difficulty adjustment systems that modify mathematical parameters based on individual player behavior patterns, though this approach has sparked immediate controversy with players calling it rigged and casinos characterizing it as personalization. The fundamental tension driving all these developments cannot be easily resolved. Casinos must win mathematically to remain viable businesses, but players must feel they have genuine winning opportunities or they'll stop playing entirely. The industry is searching for a new equilibrium between entertainment value and profitability in an information age where knowledge spreads instantly and players organize collectively in ways that were impossible just 5 years ago. If you found this information valuable, subscribe for more casino insider content that most operators would prefer to remain private. Comment below about which of these machines you've played and whether you've noticed casinos quietly removing them from floors. Thousands of players are already using this information to make more informed decisions about where they spend their gambling budgets. Next week, we're covering the opposite situation. Slot machines. Casinos are rushing to install because they're extracting profits so effectively that player advocates are demanding regulatory investigations. You won't believe what machine number 3 is on that list. And the psychological manipulation techniques it employs would shock even experienced gamblers who think they understand how modern slots operate.